What I just showed you right there was from Wichita, Kansas, an area represented by a MAGA Republican Congress member too afraid to hold town halls. Americans are pissed at the Trump regime and the Trump sycophants in the House and the Senate, or trying to push forward the disastrous murder bill that they refer to as a budget bill. Congress member Frost, Democrat, was there leading this town hall in a ruby red Wichita, Kansas district. He goes, working people across the nation are pissed off about this rigged economy and they're showing up. Wichita's congressman refuses to host a town hall, so we pulled up instead. Democrats going into ruby red areas and speaking with the people about the rigged economy that MAGA Republicans are trying to give all these billionaires and decamillionaires all of the benefits. And I'll tell you what people are super pissed about. Here's what Donald Trump was posting throughout the evening and into the morning. Israeli court postpones Netanyahu's corruption trial after Donald Trump calls for Netanyahu's case to be dismissed. So this is what Donald Trump is focused on right now. While Americans can't afford housing, while Americans are psychologically tortured because we live paycheck to paycheck, as a disastrous murder bill is working its way through the Senate that's about to take 15 to 16 million of us off of our health care plans. We're going to go back to the time before Obamacare, and other essential services are going to be stripped away as our GDP is contracting. Oh, we do see Jeff Bezos and the millionaires and billionaires out there in Venice doing their foam parties and partying and living the high life, but I guess we have to take from working class and low-income Americans so that what? So that Jeff Bezos and billionaires and decamillionaires can buy extra jets and yachts. That's what we mean when we say this economy is rigged and it's screwed up, and Donald Trump's out there posting about Benjamin Netanyahu's Israeli corruption trial in Israel, where Netanyahu's the prime minister. They're prosecuting him for crimes. Okay, that's their view of it in Israel. So Donald Trump extorts Israel and says, we will not give you weapons from the United States of America if you continue to prosecute Netanyahu as a matter of life and death, as a matter of war powers. You need to stop charging Netanyahu, and the court delayed the case. So that's what Donald Trump is focused on right now. Look, Elon Musk has been trashing Donald Trump again over the weekend. By the way, this weekend I did another video on the Epstein files, because we are not going to forget about that here on the Midas Touch Network, that Donald Trump wants to cover up, that his name is all over the Epstein files. And I gave data and facts and evidence. Go back and watch that video from Sunday if you haven't seen it yet. Elon Musk was posting yesterday about the disastrous budget bill. The latest Senate draft bill will destroy millions of jobs in America and cause immense strategic harm to our country. Utterly insane and destructive. It gives handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. Elon Musk then says, Who is this bill helping? At the same time, this bill raises the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, the biggest increase in history, putting America in the fast lane to debt slavery. Elon Musk goes on to talk about how he reposts from Michael Thomas, who says the U.S. will need 450 gigawatts of new electricity generation by 2030 to meet rising demand from data centers, reshoring, etc., and the Senate is about to vote on a bill that could wipe out 500 gigawatts of potential energy generation capacity. Musk says this would be incredibly destructive to America, and Musk also says polls show this bill is political suicide for the Republican Party and a massive strategic error. The the North American Building Trades Union, NAB2, they put out a statement about this disastrous bill, and they say the revised Senate draft released over the weekend is a massive insult to working men and women of North America building trades unions and all construction workers. This is not what they voted for. If enacted, this stands to be the biggest job-killing bill in the history of this country. Simply put, it is the equivalent of terminating more than 1,000 Keystone XL pipeline projects. In some cases, it worsens the already harmful trajectory of the House-passed language, threatening an estimated 1.75 million construction jobs and over 3 billion work hours, which translates to $148 billion in lost annual wages and benefits. These are staggering and unfathomable job loss numbers, and the bill throws yet another lifeline and competitive advantage to China in the race for global energy dominance. Just talking a little bit more about international affairs, one of the things that was reported this weekend is that Iran is likely able to restart uranium enrichment in a matter of months because the strikes were not as effective as Donald Trump claimed. Shocker, the Washington Post. They seem to be able to report better when Jeff Bezos is distracted by his wedding overseas. They've actually did good reporting this weekend. Intercepted call of Iranian officials downplays damage of U.S. attack. The officials were heard saying Trump's strike on Iran proved less devastating than expected. The administration calls the intelligence insignificant, although our intelligence community has heard the Iranians privately when the U.S., they didn't know the U.S. was eavesdropping, saying that the strikes were not as strong as expected, and we can see with new satellite images from Fordo. Fox reports, Maxar reports, activity near the bombed ventilation shafts. Maxar collected new high-resolution satellite imagery on June 29th that reveals ongoing activity at and near the ventilation shafts and holes caused by the last week airstrikes on the Fordo fuel enrichment complex in Iran. On today's imagery, an excavator and several personnel in Iran are positioned immediately next to the northern shaft of the ridge above the underground complex. The crane appears to be operating at the entrance of the shaft hole. Several additional vehicles are also seen below the ridge and are parked along the access path that was built to access the site. So who does this benefit? A symbolic, performative strike that's not as successful as claimed by the United States using B-2s against Iran. Well, Donald Trump gets to distract from his horrible poll numbers and all of his domestic failures, and Trump can act tough as though he was involved in an 11-day or 12-day war. Netanyahu benefits because Donald Trump then calls for Netanyahu's criminal trial to be postponed in a matter of war powers, so Netanyahu's criminal case now gets postponed. Iran benefits as Donald Trump now has encouraged China to buy cheap oil from Iran. Iran keeps its uranium. It's able to build nuclear weapons soon. Iran makes more money from China. It's now further embraced in the international community because the United States says we're done and Iran can do what it wants to do now, is basically what Trump said. And ultimately, Russia and Putin. Remember, Putin said he wanted to mediate the dispute between Israel and Iran and the United States. Russia benefits massively because now Iran can keep supplying its Shahed drones, which are the main weapon used by Russia against Ukraine. Do you see how this all works? And if you don't think it all lines up the way I just told you, well, I've got a nice bill of some snake oil I want to sell you. Donald Trump then held a disastrous interview on Sunday with Maria Bartiromo, state regime propagandist from Fox, and the way Donald Trump tries to describe what we're doing in this disastrous budget bill as it relates to energy policy is a bunch of gibberish that literally makes no sense. And I'm not even saying it makes no sense in terms of policy. That's a given. He's not even speaking in complete sentences. He's just saying words. Coal, windmills, rail, mountains. I don't like the way solar looks. Here, listen to what he says. Play this clip. Opened up coal. We were closing all our coal mines all over the country, and yet we still have a lot of coal. We use the generating plants of coal because it's the strongest. And we're doing coal. So we have everything, every form. I don't want windmills destroying our place. I don't want, these solar things where they go for miles and they cover up a half a mountain that are ugly as hell. And by the way, the panels are all made, and the windmills, they're all made in China. Okay? So now, the MAGA Republicans in the House are basically saying that all Americans will die in a nuclear war if we don't pass Trump's disastrous bill because it will